So today's card tutorial is a requested tutorial. I've had a few people ask me to make this one. It's known as a faceted diamond vertical easel card. There's a few ways that you can make this card, and the tutorial that I saw was by Iced Image Designs, and I'll link that in the description box below. So I've had a little look at hers. It's pretty straightforward to make, but I have made a few tweaks and I've changed the measurements slightly. So you're going to want a piece of 12 by 6 cardstock, and along the 12-inch side you're going to score at 3 and 6. So right now you're just making what's known as a standard easel card. So it's a really nice kind of easy fun fold if you're just starting to make those kind of cards. So normal easel card would be this way, but today's card's going to be this way. So first of all, we want to just make a few more score lines. So I've got my ruler and my stylus. So just have it so that you've got your 3 and your 6-inch score lines nearest you. You're going to come in from this end on the score line and this end at 1 inch. So just put a little pencil mark there. You can rub all this out. So 1 and 5 inches. I've just put a pencil mark. You then want to mark halfway on this 6-inch score line, so 3 inches, and then also on the outer edge here, so 3 inches, and then just join those up. Again, do it very lightly so you can rub this out. I am going to be covering most of this with the pattern paper. If you then pop it this way, you then want to mark 1 inch in on this pencil line. So 1 and 5. So you'll now have these equally spaced little markers. You want to now join those up, but rather than use your pencil, I would just use your stylus straight away. So I'm just going to lay my ruler down so it's hitting both of those markers there. Make sure you've got a nice soft surface, and then just score. And then again the next one, so just join up, and then again, and just repeat that on all of those sides until you've made a square. Okay, like so. And then keep your metal ruler. You want to grab a knife, or you can use scissors if you want. If you're using scissors, just fold this in half. In fact, I might as well use scissors. I think it's going to be easier anyway. Just fold that in half and just cut down to the corner there, and that would have matched on the other side as well. And now when you open that, you'll have this opening. Kind of looks like a beak for a bird. If you've ever done those cards when you were little, that's what it reminds me of. So if you want to rub out all of the other pencil marks, okay, now what you want to do is where you've got these score lines here, you're going to fold them all down so they're mountain folds. And you'll see that that will start to fold in. So just pushing it inside the card. Make sure you get a nice point on the corners here, like so. But now you'll be able to fold that completely in on itself. So you can have it like this, and you can have it as an easel card that way, and then the mats and layers that I'll give you for this bit in a minute, and you can have something decorative that way. But I'm going to do it this way. So then what I've got is my pattern paper to make the mats and layers here. So I'm using this lovely new paper pad, which is the latest RSPB one. If you've been following me, you've probably seen me use the RSPB papers in other tutorials, because this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th that they've brought out now. Really lovely. You've got beautiful toppers, which you can see. I've got there, one of them sending smiles, and then all these lovely papers. So I've got that one there, and then I've already done another card, and I'll show you that towards the end. And then I've just embossed the side piece using the embossing folder, but you could use anything. You might want to use more pattern paper. So what I've done a bit differently with mine is I've made this as a whole mat and layer, so it just sticks right around the side there, and we're going to have another one here. So first of all, you want to cut yourself a piece of 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then using the pencil you want to come in 3/4 of an inch along the long side from both ends. So 3/4 of an inch, and then you could mark at 5 if you're using your ruler there. So 3/4 and 5, or just do 3/4 and then 3/4 again at that end. You then want to find the center point along this side here, which will be 2 7/8. In fact, if you do 2 7/8 along this side as well, and then draw a pencil line, and then you're going to mark up 5/8 of an inch, like so. So you should have your 2 markers here coming in at 3/4 on this side, and then on this side you're coming up 5/8 of an inch. Where you've got that marker there, you want to draw from the 3/4 marker down to that one, and then again from that marker down. I can now cut this piece, this triangle, away completely, and you can either rub the pencil marks out or leave it over. So that's for the plain. So you might just want to do that one matte layer. You could emboss that now if you wanted to, and you'll see it will fit perfectly in that space. But I want to add pattern paper onto that. If it's a directional paper, then make sure that you have it the right way up. This is kind of directional, I guess, but it could go that way as well. But because I need to, but it kind of is directional, I'm going to, so I want it to go over the top of this, so I'm going to flip it over. So this side is this one here. So this time you want to come in 5/8 of an inch on each side, like so. Then you want to mark halfway along here, which will be 2 3/4, and again along the top, and join those two up, just so you get it nice and straight. And then you're just going to mark up 1/2 inch, and then do the same, connect all of those markers, and then cut that all the way. Sorry, it's actually 3/8, not half, so it's even shorter. It's a very small part that you've got there. So I'm just going to line that up again. So you want to come in 3/8 of an inch, not 1/2 inch. So do that twice, stick them on top of each other, and then stick them down onto there. Then I've got these pieces for the side. Now the reason why I've got white and then I'm putting it on white is because this is the stopper. So this is all going to be raised up on some foam. So when that now sits against that one, that white piece, you'll have the white edge here joining with this pink layer. It will sit there, so you get the same design continuing. If I just put the pink straight onto there, you would get the pink joining, and can you see then you lose the white frame, and it just bugged me. So that's the reason why I've got the same white going on top of that white there, if anybody was unsure. So I thought I'd just explain that. So I'm just going to pop some foam on the back. In fact, all these pieces here, so this is 1 5/8 by 6 3/4. Then the pink is 1 3/8 by 5 1/2, and then the embossed piece is, well, it would be 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to stick all of that down. And you're just sticking it towards the edge there, so it's got the same border around the sides. You can see there what I mean about having that white frame against the pink. And then I always do this, but I forgot to add the acetate. You've got to add the acetate first before you add your mats and layers. So you can just see I'm human, and it's fine. I know I can take those pieces off. So I've got this piece of acetate here, which is about 3/4 of an inch. I think it was by 5 1/2. Now this is optional because you might want to stamp a sentiment in the middle there. So you might not even want this piece anyway, but it's 3/4 by 5 1/2. And you want to stick this down first before you add your mats and layers. But fortunately the Collall glue does have a little bit of a longer kind of drying time, so I'm just going to pop it underneath this side first, and then I can just lay that back down. So I'm just popping it so it runs right through that cut line there, and then again I'm just going to lift up the edge here. So yeah, at least you can see me kind of rectify things, because like I said, I'm only human. If you watch my lives, then you'll see me do things like this a lot. Okay, so now what will happen is that folds in, and that bend, the acetate, pops up. So it now makes it perfect for you to have your sentiment popping up. So like I said, this is from the topper sheets. I'll just show you how they look. So you've got this one, so you've got some gift tags there. So you get 2, I think you get 3 of each. And you've got that one there. So I've just taken the sending smiles. So I always like to send cards when I do my giveaways. Everybody always gets a card, so I'm forever making thank you and like hello cards and things like that. So I'm going to add just a little bit of red tape to the kind of the brow of that bend. So just on the top, just enough to attach your sentiment, and then just stick this down when it's all flat, and you can make sure that you get it in the middle, and that tucks behind its stopper. You get that really lovely effect. Now if you want to cover the faceted triangles inside, I'll bring in this other one that I did here. So this was like my practice one, which I ended up loving, and it all worked out fine. You can see I've added a few little enamel dots there, so I'm going to add some of those as well. But what I've also done is covered the triangles inside, and those ones measured, cut from a 1 5/8 squared square. So I'll just give you an example here. So that's 1 5/8 by 1 5/8, and then if you just cut it from point to point, you'd need 2 of these. You can see now how that will just go. It's probably not the best example, but it fits in there perfectly. There we go, and you'll get a nice border. Okay, so if you do want to cover those, obviously do it before you stick your sentiment down, because I think if you're stamping directly inside this bit, then I think it would be nice to add those pieces. But because I've got the sentiment popping up, you don't see it too much. So I just wanted to show you one with and one without. But I am just going to add a few of these little enamel dots. I've had these for years. People often ask me where I get these from. You can get an enamel dots. A lot of companies sell them, but I got these particular ones when I lived abroad, so I have had them a while. But I'm just going to add some glue there, because the adhesives aren't always the best on these, so it's always best, I think, to add some extra glue. Put the pink there, so it just matches really nicely. So that's my version of the faceted diamond vertical easel card. I think I got it right. Hope you, those of you that requested it, enjoy this one. It's a really nice, easy style. You don't need any fancy dies or anything like that. Shows off those papers really nicely, and then you've got your space inside to write your message there. It all folds flat, and those will go into a 6x6 envelope. And if you're going to add more dimension, you might want to have quite a big pop-up piece there. Then I pop it into a box envelope, and I'll have those all linked and coming up now. If you've enjoyed today's tutorial, please consider subscribing if you haven't, and if you hit the notification bell, then you'll be notified every time I upload something new. And popping up now will be some other kind of easel. I've got some vertical ones there as well. You might want to watch those next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.